Have you ever walked into a room full of smart people and asked yourself, what the heck am I doing here? And even sometimes they are asking themselves that exact question. What the heck is this person doing here? Or have you ever received, earned a prestigious recognition, award, scholarship? And yet, instead of celebrating, okay, maybe you celebrate a little bit, but then there is a whispering voice that tells you they made a mistake. And it's about time they will find out that they made a mistake, because out of all thousands and thousands of people, why do you think you deserve it? Do you think you're more qualified than all those people? They made a mistake. And soon they'll find out. That was me for a very long time. That was me when I was elected as one of 2 scholars from Kenya, Rhodes Scholars from Kenya in 2015, out of, I don't know, thousands of applicants. That was me when I was admitted to do my PhD at the University of Oxford without a master's degree. I was like, Oxford of all the places, I think they were trying to fill out the space. For a very long time, when I arrived at Oxford, for some of you guys who've stepped into these Ivy Leagues and these prestigious universities, very intimidating. And I not even walked, I feel like I tiptoed. The entire first year, I was tiptoeing around as like, guys, they will find out and I will be deported. If you can relate to what I'm saying, then you have felt imposter syndrome. Especially if you are a minority, if you've been a minority in a group of people, so if you are the only person of color, the only black woman in a space, there is a high likelihood that you've faced or you can relate and you have faced this feeling, and it's called imposter syndrome. It's that sad and sneaky feeling that tells you don't belong, that reminds you, whispers to you that you do not deserve whatever you've worked so hard to get. And sometimes you believe it. Sadly, the comforting truth is that you are not alone. And even the most accomplished people, they have felt this thing. They might not know, some know, some might confess, some might not confess. But do you know, of all the people, MayaAngelou, and if you do not know who I am talking about, just Google MayaAngelou. Of all the people, after publishing so many books, world internationally acclaimed books and winning countless awards, she once said, let me write this quote here. I have written 11 books, but each time I think, they are going to find me out now. MayaAngelou, of all the people, felt like an imposter, felt this imposter syndrome thing. So today, let's talk about imposter syndrome, why it happens, and some top 3 tips that I've used personally from my own journey to help you turn that self-doubt into greatest strength and march forward confidently. Number 1, why does this thing happen? It happens because psychologists say it's mostly rooted in perfectionism, in comparison, in fear of failure. Gosh, I feel sad reading this because I feel like this describes me. I tend to be a perfectionist. I want things to go perfectly well according to my own plan. Fear of failure. I fear failing. I want to succeed all the time. I've been an A student all my life. So sadly, if you are this type of person, then you tend to feel that imposter syndrome quite a bit. And like I mentioned, it's also if you are a minority in a group. So already, picture this. You are in that seminar room. This was me when I was doing my PhD, because wherever I was, it was white male dominated. Also, the field that I was studying was white male dominated. And so many times, actually the entire time during my PhD, in that lab, I was the only black woman. And so we would be in a seminar room, and most of the time it would be like, I don't know, maybe 10 people. And I'm the only woman in that room, and I'm the only person of let me not say person of color. I'm the only black woman in that room, or I'm the only black and the only woman. So very weird intersection. And so already by the way you look, you already feel like an imposter. You already don't look like everyone else in that room, and so you already having those you are super self-aware. You can only relate if you have been a minority in a group. If you've never been a minority in any group, you might not relate to what I'm trying to say. But so anyway, then you are more predisposed to feeling like an imposter or feeling imposter syndrome if you are in such a situation. At least that has been my experience. So top three tips that you can use, 3 tools that you can use to turn that self-doubt or imposter syndrome into a strength. Number 1, rename and redefine what competence is. Being good enough isn't about knowing everything. And in fact, I want you to fear those people who purport to know everything about everyone all the time. They are lying, because no human being can know everything about everyone every time. They are lying. And growth, I'm learning, growth is not perfection. It's not about knowing everything. It's that curiosity and growth mindset to want to learn. And in fact, from my own examples, I was narrating here the other day that all the institutions I've ever been to, I literally started at the bottom. So a very good example is my high school. When I joined high school, I could barely speak. I could barely write in the English language. I could speak other languages, my local language and Kiswahili. But then I was really struggling in English to converse, to write in English, because we didn't practice conversing in English in where I grew up. And I started at the bottom like that. I was also the overall grade that I had when I joined high school was like one of the least. And then because of that growth mindset, curiosity, hunger to want to improve, I did improve. I practiced, etc. 4 years later, I was exiting with the best grade and even breaking school record. Same thing that happened in my undergrad. Same thing happened when I was doing my PhD. I started my PhD without a master's degree. I was doubting myself. Like I mentioned, I was tiptoeing around Oxford corridors, feeling like someone will find out and I might be deported because I don't feel like I belong in this prestigious place full of bright, smart people. And then 4 years later, earned my PhD and exited proudly. In fact, I even wrote a book, an entire book about the PhD journey, where I collected my experiences through all that. So just to say, through that experience, and it's an encouragement to you if you feel like you're not competent enough, if you are curious and you have growth mindset, it's just about time. In fact, I would rather you give me someone who does not know a lot, but they are curious and they have growth mindset, because you give them time, they will outpace the person who knows everything and they feel confident and they don't want to learn more. So rename, redefine what competence is, and ask questions. In fact, right now, I changed careers recently and I feel like I'm in kindergarten once more. I don't know many things. It's an entirely new world. And the other day, people were discussing this thing that they think it's like 1 + 1 in business, like everyone should know. I do not know, but I was confident in raising my hand and saying, guys, I don't understand what you guys are talking about. And they were like, what do you mean you don't understand that? I'm like, I don't understand. Teach me. I'm now confident asking people to teach me things because I know I'm not stupid. I know I know a lot of things about other fields, about other things. I might not know a lot about this, but I'm willing to learn. And if you give me time, I will outpace you. Number 2, collect evidence. Literally, in my gallery, in my photos, my phone, I literally have a folder where I collect critics' voices and praises. I call them like the positive and the negative comments through anyone who's ever written a DM saying, Gladys, the work you're doing encouraged me to do this and this. I screenshot and I save it. I also collect critics' voices because it's just interesting to also see what people, because that criticism sometimes can be a constructive criticism. Sometimes, of course, people on the internet are hating etc. and you should not pay a lot of attention. But hey, I keep them both. So every time I doubt myself, every time I want to quit YouTube, this project, and just live my life, I go to that folder where students have been writing, DMing, saying the work that I'm doing is encouraging them. They are getting confidence, they are getting inspired. And every time I go through that folder, I turn on the microphone, I turn on this camera, and I'm like, let me record one more episode. So collect evidence, especially the positive ones. When I was writing, another good example is when I was writing my first book, I doubted, I've written about this a lot, I doubted that people would actually read my work. I mean, again, imposter syndrome. I was actually not planning, even the PhDJourney book, I was planning to write it as a PDF to share with my siblings, to share with my mentees. Until someone, a friend, read it and like, this is gold. Can you just publish this thing even as an ebook on Amazon? Guys, that book was a wild success. I even earned some money that I wasn't even expecting through royalties. I wasn't expecting to get. And just the inspiration that the book inspires the students a lot. Graduate students, because I was writing through my own struggles through the PhD journey. So anyway, because of imposter syndrome, I almost not published that book. But then now when I was writing this one, the Awaken Your Potential that I'm currently promoting, I literally just went back to Amazon, opened the reviews from my past books, and I was like, you know what? I think people find insights in my stories and in my musings and whatever I'm sharing. So when I was writing this book, I did not struggle a lot with imposter syndrome because I had evidence, I had collected evidence. I have evidence from past books that people are enjoying and getting insights from the work that I do. Collect evidence. Number 3, talk about it. Talk about it. Sometimes, as they say, silence feeds shame. If you feel like an imposter, if you don't tell people, you think you are alone. This is a story that happened during my PhD. One day, like I was telling you, tiptoeing around Oxford corridors for a very long time. That was my first year. It was the worst year of my PhD because I doubted myself a lot. I went into women in engineering gathering. It was, I think, Friday, and we had happy hour, and so there was wine flowing around. And so after a glass of wine, you know the way you always fake this confidence, etc. The confidence was gone. And so I remember approaching a third-year student. We were just coming clean, and I told her, I feel lost. I actually don't know what I'm doing. It's almost 1 year, and I cannot pinpoint any impactful or meaningful work from my research so far, from literature review. I don't know what I've been doing the last 1 year. It's almost the second academic year, and I cannot name what I've done. And she just listened. And so I went on and on about feeling like an imposter. Do I even belong here if I don't know what I'm doing? I wrote a research paper in my first year, and it was rejected. And I was like, they are about to find me out. In fact, these guys are finding me out. Like, the conference people don't even think that my work is worth presenting in a conference. Gosh, I don't belong here. And so I went on and on and on. She waited. Once I was done, she was like, I'm in my 3rd year. I'm about to write my final thesis. And if I was to be honest, I also do not know what I'm doing most of the time. And I was like, wait, what? You do not know what you are my idol. I really adored her. She was one of the other, I think we were 3 women in the lab at that time. She was this person I really admired. I thought she walked with confidence. When she was presenting, I thought, wow, she knows what she's doing. So anyway, if you're feeling like an imposter, of course, you should not be telling everybody. So you look for someone you trust or a community, and when you open up about that, you will realize that you are not alone. There are so many people who are feeling like imposter or feeling those self-doubt. Many people are faking it. Many people will never talk about it. But those who are confident, those who are honest enough, will also tell you that they are not confident all the time. So do not let self-doubt and imposter syndrome stop you from raising your hand, from applying for that opportunity, from releasing your work, your creativity to the world, or even from celebrating the things you've earned. So until next episode, do not let fear, do not let self-doubt, do not let imposter syndrome stop you from unleashing or awakening your potential.